Awesome. 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 Thank you.
Okay, here we go. What's today? Tuesday now? Are we still liking being home, working from home? Is everybody getting tired of it? Been tired of it? No? Okay. Okay, thanks for everybody for coming. We're going to talk about marketing. So if you don't know me, I'm Donna Castillo. I was in corporate marketing probably around 25 plus years. I don't want to age myself. I did corporate marketing for companies like Adobe and some semiconductor companies like Atmel and Cadence and things like that. So I was always in this marketing realm. I used to run a team that did corporate events. That was one of our that was one of my major responsibilities, was corporate events, but I also did corporate campaigns. So branding was one of my specialty. I've rebranded companies, new logos, things like that. And so this is truly something that's close to my heart when it comes to marketing. I can't tell you, I can't watch TV or anything without looking about the way they're marketing themselves and seeing what their messaging is. And I found that when I came to real estate, people don't really brand themselves really well. I see Linda Zimmer has that real estate logo going on instead of showing, hi, Linda.
Hello.
But it's really that it's defining what your personal brand is, what's your personal value prop is, and then how you're going to not only see it in print, but how you're going to talk about it, how you're going to see it in video, and how you're going to be consistent from beginning to end when you're talking to a client. I don't think any of us have let me see. So if you're going to do a new brand and roll out a new logo for yourself and have all your clients understand your brand, that's millions and millions of dollars, right? When a corporation does that. So because we don't have millions of dollars to invest, that's why we need to determine what that value prop is initially when you start your marketing and be consistent throughout. So you start building your brand with your clients and your community. And so that's what we're going to talk about here. And we'll go to the next slide. So any questions so far? We're good. I found too that with real estate agents, you don't find a lot of branding. They'll say I'm a top 1%er, but what does that mean, right? What does that mean to a client that wants to hire you? And so what successful agents do every day, we're going to talk about growing the business and then how they run their business. Growing it is that lead gen, listing presentations, buyer presentations, previewing real estate or homes and whatever, apartments, condos. And then when you're running your business, you market your seller listings, you're going to show buyers your houses, you got to negotiate contracts. And you can see that list there. But what's really interesting when I look at this slide, in both cases, whether you're growing your business or running your business, you can be managing your brand and your value prop. So when you're marketing seller listings, is the way you present it. So this brand value prop is more than just the words as well. It's the visual around your brand. So let me see. So if you just see a red can, you kind of think of Coca-Cola all the time, right? So it's really how you're going to present your listing pictures. Is it always a kitchen? Is it always the front of the house? Where do you put your logo? Is it always on the lower right? Is it upper left? All those things are all important in the brand. So it's consistent. So when somebody sees something that you're marketing and that you're promoting online or in print, they know it's you and they know it's yours. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to define your value. You're going to see what we're going to go through today. Aspects of your service. You got to know and state your value. So I'm already talking about that. We're going to be talking about defining it, but we're going to talk about how you're going to state your value and you're going to deliver and then build on that value. And I'm supposed to be going through notes and I'm probably just going ahead of myself, but kind of what I do because I know marketing. So we're talking about your value. I can't, like Laura always complains, you can't see who's online with you, but has anybody gone through this process? Do you know what your value is? Anybody want to talk about it? No? That's okay. So we're going to craft. I'm sorry.
You mean like our value proposition?
Yeah. Have you crafted yours yet?
Well, I know it's customer service and guidance, because that's my background, customer service and guidance in the education world.
Awesome. Awesome.
So in short,
And so then you're always consistently talking about that customer, how you provide the best customer service, right? And education to your clients.
yes.
Right. So so for me personally, I look at real estate as when you work with me, it's more of transformational. Just woke up a little while ago. Then transactional. I don't look at real estate as just one transaction at a time. It's more transformational, your life, your money, and then all the services that I provide around transforming your life through real estate. That's kind of what I deliver. So we're going to talk about crafting a simple and precise description of the benefits you have for the client, how you're going to convey it, and then how you talk about it between you and your clients. Okay.
I was hoping that maybe you might take a little bit of time to discuss exactly how to convey, your value proposition when you don't have any experience in this industry or anything actually that directly relates to it.
That's a good question. You like William or Bill? William. So if you're new to the market, right? You know yourself, and you know how do you want to work with your clients? What's going to be your niche? How are you going to be different from absolutely every other realtor that's out there? Now, when you're in the beginning, you could, KW is a great brand, and they have a great mission statement, and you can use that to start. But then as you go through and start working with your clients, I think you're going to start defining what you're good at and what your clients appreciate that you bring to the table. I mean, we just talked about education. So is it you will educate your client from beginning to the end on the buying process, on the listing process? It's really going to be unique to you and the services that you provide. So for me, as an example, when I start a transaction, when I talk about transformational, I do a lot of first-time home buyers. So it's not just the transaction and then I don't talk to you again. It's the transaction. Then I make sure that I'm hooking them up with a financial planner, a tax person, and to just continue that education so that they're financially aware of all the options and ways that they can make money. I check in with them, especially right now because the equity is building so fast in their homes, and talk, in a year, if I had a client a year ago, talk to them now and say, hey, you have $250,000 worth of equity in your home. Have you ever thought about investing, buying rental property, things like that? So that I'm transformational, right? And so it's really, you're going to have to define it based on how you want to work with your clients and what you feel you bring to the table. So have you done any transactions yet?
Zero.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I've only been with Keller Williams a month now.
Oh, congrats. Good team.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. I'm excited. But that's just been kind of where I when it comes to this subject, every time I try to tease out where to begin, it kind of becomes a circular conversation, right? Like it's this catch-22, like what are you going to bring to your client, or what do you plan to bring to your client? And then it just loops me back around to the fact that I don't know exactly, right? Like having not done any transactions, not really had any experience with clients at this level and in this industry. It's really hard to tease out where to put that first stone,
No, totally understood, William. And so are you in which office are you in?
Santa Cruz.
You're in the Santa Cruz office. So when you're working with somebody in that region, you got to rely on, like, I have a huge team behind me that's going to support me through this transaction. You have whoever you're partnering with through your first transaction, you partner with them and really rely on their, they have 10 years of experience. It's more of a group effort when you get started, because you're going to partner with somebody. You're not going to say, this is my very first transaction, so, hold my hand, versus you're going to rely on that person that you're partnering with, your mentor, your coach, and talk about their years of experience and how you're going to deliver X, Y, and Z to them. So it depends on who your mentor and coach is.
So,
But
so
really
literally
rely,
delivered
I would
and
rely
stuff
on the
that way?
Keller Williams brand in the beginning.
You would. That's
Mhm.
what I plan on. Yeah, I'm
It's a great
definitely,
brand, right?
yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, we have a great mission statements, we have great values, so you can use those. I mean, they're good that I talk about those as well. You know, the whole, every mission statement, the mission statements through Keller Williams are all great ones that you can incorporate into your brand and then slowly incorporate your uniqueness into it.
Right.
But you have a whole team, you have a whole office of experience and transactions that have already happened that you can
Yeah.
use when you're marketing yourself, right?
Yeah, that definitely my goal is to, start kind of branding myself under Keller Williams at first and then
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and focus on the fact that it's it's a huge network and a knowledge base that I bring, not just myself, but
Yeah, and it's not only, and it's not the Santa Cruz office, right? We're global,
right.
right? So, there's that whole, when a property goes on listing, it's a global presence, right? Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
So you could totally play off of that. And so if you need help after this call too, I would love to sit down with you and I can help you craft something as well, because the information is there. Just got to bring it together for you in the way you want to present it.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. So let's see. Purpose, value, 3 aspects. We talked about that. Or did we talk about that? Here we go. And what is the underlying purpose of real estate? That's interesting. This is interesting. So for buyers, it's about finding a home. Sellers is selling that home. This is kind of crazy because what's the underlying? It's moving so fast that we don't even talk about this right now, right? What's the underlying purpose of real estate? It's sell, 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 buy, buy, buy for us, right? I'm just gonna go value proposition. So I think we all understand what value proposition is. If you don't, please let me know. But it's really what you bring to the table, like I said. For me, when I go into a listing presentation, I always emphasize that I have over 25 years of marketing experience. There's not one person out there that's going to be able to outmarket me. No way. They're not. And I'm going to get the word out. I'm going to have the most eyeballs on your property than anybody else, because that's what I did for 30 years for corporations like Adobe, Cisco, Citrix, and Cadence and companies like that. So I talk about that quite a bit because I do have that experience. I also talk about how, because of my corporate marketing experience, I have a huge network. I have a large digital footprint. I have a database of 10,000. So those are all my value props. So you have to figure out what your value props are and be able to talk about them visually in online and in print.
Hi, good morning, Donna.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to that for me personally, when I'm putting together my proposition value statement, I'm just trying to draw off any skills from my previous employment that I feel could be applicable in the real estate transaction, and then going from there. So Will, I know that you are previous military. I think that that's a great starting point. I'm sure you have so many skills that can translate into value for a client. You just have to figure out which skills those are, whether it's multitasking, communicating with various parties to get a certain goal accomplished. Maybe you're going to target military credit unions and try to work with their mortgage department. You know what military families go through. I definitely think you have something there. You just have to figure out how you're going to develop it.
Well, that's good. Like for William too, if for me, I grew up in Mountain View, like the backyard. I used to go horseback riding where Google is now. And so being a local expert is really important because you know that area. It could be something like that. It could be Julia used to be in the lending side of the business, and to talk about how she can educate you through the financial side to get into a transaction and explain your credit scores and how to get loans and things like that. That's her value prop. So things to think about, William, when you're thinking about what's your value prop in addition to using the Keller Williams brand. You probably already have some uniqueness that you hadn't thought about.
Oh, I have some ideas. I guess I stumble on maybe I have a hang up a little bit around the whole quote unquote sales aspect of this, this career path, because everything that I feel like I bring to it, I feel like I have to translate it somehow into this, this salesmanship approach. And maybe I get a little hung up on that, and I shouldn't think too hard about that.
Well, I don't like doing sales, right? So I don't look at it as if I'm trying to sell myself. It's really, I want to help you. I come from a place of service, right? And so if I want to help you get into your new home, or I love working with seniors, so I want to help them be able to downsize and help them with an estate sale and downsize and get them into a new home comfortably at their pace. So, don't think of it as a sales.
Right. Yeah, that's where I think I'm getting hung up, because
Yeah,
I agree. That's really my, my intuition or feeling is that is what I want to do. I really want to support people and
There
this
you go.
big decision in their lives, but I keep, I guess, stumbling on that.
Yeah, you want to come from service, right? And so, and being a local, help, the service can be something like if you're looking for a place in Santa Cruz, I grew up here. I don't know if you did, but if you did, you could talk about how Santa Cruz and the uniqueness of the different areas within Santa Cruz. So working with you to identify what you as a buyer are looking for, I'm able to help you find that location within Santa Cruz to live. If it's schools, or you want to be by the beach, or you want to be more in the mountains, right?
Right.
And that could be your value prop, right? The uniqueness of the neighborhoods within Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to help you easily find the home that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the one thing too, like I don't speak Spanish. I understand Spanish, but I'm not as comfortable speaking Spanish. But if you speak another language, that could be something that's huge, especially since we're in California. A lot of Spanish-speaking people here, and probably one of the groups that are growing the fastest as home ownership grows. So let's keep going. Functionary versus fiduciary. Wow. That's funny. So what's the difference between fiduciary and what is the difference in a functionary? Sorry about this one. I didn't understand this one when I saw this one. Fiduciary is totally important anyways.
Yeah, well, fiduciary we
Who's
know
that?
is
Hey,
our duty. Yeah, it's our duty to provide the utmost care, skill to our client, and functionary is somebody who is assigned to carry out tasks.
And the fiduciary, they're saying it's a big honor. It's more important than ever in today's market to wear the badge of honor proudly, which is very true. I don't. You can, if you're not doing that, you can easily lose your license. Right now, they have clients. I mean, there's agents out there that are making multiple offers for their buyer at the same time, and that is just so wrong. And then there's one gentleman, I don't know if you guys heard the story, have you, where all 3 offers got accepted, and so now what's going to happen. That's going to be, you got to follow that story. It's going to be huge. I could share it later. It'll take too much time now. Okay, know and state your value. So William, this is yours, right? So taking some data around the clients, we want to get the big picture, look at what you're doing. What are you bringing to your clients? William, I know you haven't had a transaction yet, but when you do have that first transaction, it's really tracking and reflecting on what your value was throughout the transaction, and then start building your own, value prop.
Okay.
Right. So what buyers want, I think this is from 2018. That's from a while ago, but I don't think this changes much. They want to find the right home for the purchase. So we talked about that, right? If you're in Santa Cruz, all you're intimate with the neighborhoods, where they want to go. Once they explain what kind of home they're looking for, you're going to help negotiate price negotiations. But it's interesting in this one, help them find the right home is 52%. But to help with price negotiation is only 11%. So when they're going in to buy a home, they're going in for their price range, right? But they just want a home. And this slide just tells me, give me a home. And so that's huge when you're talking about being a neighborhood expert, right? You want to find them the right home to purchase. If you could do that, you won them over 52%.
Right.
That's huge, right? So knowing your neighborhood and promoting that and saying how you're intimate, and this is where I grew up. Like when I tell people my mom still lives in the house that my grandmother bought for $10,000 by Google. She could probably sell it for almost 2.5 and she won't sell it, but that's how I know Mountain View. That's how intimate I am with that neighborhood. And so value, reputation of the agent, right? 31%. So getting those customer testimonials from your clients after each and every transaction, huge. Trustworthy, honest. Agent is a friend or family member. That's only 15%. I thought that would be higher, but it isn't. And knowledge of the neighborhood, once again, comes into play. And that other. So we don't know what that other is. It's 22. It's higher than all of these. So it's just a little bit of everything, but 31% is that reputation. So getting that customer testimonial is going to be huge. So I just did, as an example, I just had a really successful transaction and I videotaped. My client was willing to be videotaped. And I'll be using that to help me with my reputation and my brand. So what sellers want? So only 20% market homes to potential buyers. Pricing, that's really tricky in today's market, right? Because prices are going so fast, we can't always rely on the homes that sold 30 days ago, because guess what? 2 weeks ago, it's completely different, but they're pending and we don't know what that sale is yet, or that sales price. So this is, I think, is really tricky right now.
Yeah, definitely.
We can't really rely on what happened 30 days ago, right? It's really, to really price competitively, I'm finding that I'm calling agents that have something pending and hoping that they share prices with me so I can understand what the homes are going to start appraising for in that area, so I know where to price. And so that's probably the other, they say 20%, that's going to be a huge part of our job right now. Marketing our property, that's huge. Time frame, that's tricky right now as well. Things are selling so fast that the clients that are selling, they need to find a new home, and they're worried about finding a new home. So all these are really tricky right now in this market, finding them a home, negotiating and dealing with buyers. I think that's why it's only 14%. That should be a lot bigger considering the market we're in right now, and understanding the pricing and where they need to come in, because if they have an appraisal contingency, that can be real tricky nowadays. But once again, these are all things that you can be incorporating, knowing what the seller wants, you can be incorporated into your brand. For me, it's always marketing. So I'm always talking about, for my sellers, how I'm going to market their home. You can talk about your negotiation skills, so any one of these are good. Any questions? Somebody was talking.
I have a question.
Sure.
Now you mentioned that you call agents to get an idea of what the
Oh, yeah.
sales price might be. Now, have you gotten responses from those agents to help you along?
Yes. Sometimes they say no, they won't tell me.
Okay.
And that's why it's so important to go out and market yourself and meet other agents and be friends with them. Because when you pick up the phone, when you know that person, they'll just tell you.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
Okay.
So, some don't. But, right now the market's so competitive and crazy right now. I'm finding that it's been easier to get those prices out of people because they understand that the market's changing so fast.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the real markers, right? The sold 30 days ago, it doesn't even matter because it's changing so fast. And then what sellers value, reputation. So once again, those testimonials, important. Obviously we want to be honest, family member, agent's experience, and other. So William, is the 16% is not huge having the experience. So that's why, when you first start getting your first listings, or you work with a buyer, you probably partner with your mentor at that time and work with them that way. Because having a lot of experience is not huge.
Yeah.
Being trustworthy, the reputation, you can rely on the agent that you're working with, and a bunch of other little things. So so who's your competitors? I was trying to look before I got onto this class. And once again, I cannot find, and if you guys find somebody who has a really good value prop and a brand, send them my way, because I don't see it. They might say I'm a top producer, I'm top 1%, I'm top 10%, whatever that is. But I don't see a lot of taglines or They just say I'm a realtor and that's it. So it'd be interesting for when you're developing your value prop and your brand to really go out and seek what other agents are saying and doing in your market, in your area, to see how they're marketing themselves. It's really different. You're an investor, the investor, they're coming in, they just say I'm an investor and I want to buy. But when you're a real estate agent looking for business, right? What are they saying? And what's their value prop? It'd be interesting because I really haven't found any, even with the top ones, they just say that they're a top producer, but they don't say what they do well. You have to dig a little bit. So I was just looking at one agent that I know was a top producer prior to getting on this call. And you can see in his customer testimonials, easy to work with. I've done 11 transactions with this person, but even the testimonials didn't really say what was important about what they did for the customer. So I challenge you to go look and do better, be better. Because I think if you do it well, you can float to the top pretty quickly.
I got a question about that too for the customer. So as I can understand it right now, there actually is a fairly significant difference between the two types of customers that we find ourselves, in business with. And, I see the seller as someone who really does want somebody to sell their home, right? And then a buyer is someone more looking for that, maybe hold my hand, customer service, know the community kind of relationship. And is there a way to blend those two in your value proposition, or is it important to maybe distinguish yourself and really decide where you fall with regards to what your customer base is?
Well, so for you, like William, you're in Santa Cruz, it's being a neighborhood expert in that area works for buyers and sellers, right? Because if you're selling the property, you know who to market to, you probably can figure out who's going to buy it.
I see.
And buyer as well. I'm going to help you buy in this neighborhood. I mean, both you have to hold both of their hands. I find that sellers they're even more scared right now because, oh my God, my house is going to sell so fast and I got nowhere to go. And you have to be able to say, don't worry, I have a strategy in place. I can negotiate you free rent back. I can, as soon as we get into contract, I already have a list of homes we're going to go look at, whatever that may be, whatever that situation is. I think they both want to be walk through the process because most likely the last time they sold was at least 7 years ago. And I definitely wasn't like the market is today.
Right.
So they both want to be handheld. It's not that different. I think people are just, people are people and they get worried and scared. It's their, understand that it's their biggest asset, right? You don't want to just put a sign and rush through the process.
Absolutely.
Talking to them about how this is going to be their biggest investment, or this is their biggest investment if they're a seller, right? And how you're going to get them top dollar and have a strategy to get them into their next home.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They both want to be handheld. The great thing about Keller Williams is that we do have a great value prop, and we have the KW app. We have so many tools that helps us talk about our value prop, right? We have the website so we can get through Keller Williams, or you can use your own. We have the app. We have, command when we're sending out our emails and our text messages. So that's huge. I found that through Keller Williams, it's really easy to communicate to your clients. And every time you're communicating, you can be consistent. It's easy because it's all in one place. I think that's huge. And it really increase your value prop because you're going to be saying it consistently through the app, through command, through your email campaigns, your Facebook ads, name it, right? You got to be consistent, and we have the tools to do that. Any questions so far? We're good? Feel free. So crafting your value prop. I wish we could do this in person so we could actually get on a whiteboard and start working on this one together. But you're going to have it. It's on your, what do you call it? The booklet that we have. I think it's page 12 and 13, where you can start crafting your value prop. God, it's just too bad we can't do this in person anymore.
Donna, which workbook is this in?
It's the workbook for this class, the marketing one.
Page
It
13.
should be in the chat. I think Laura put it in there.
I downloaded Elementals Marketing. That one was a 6-page one.
No, there's another one. I can send it to everybody afterwards. And just know that it's, corporations, when they go through this process, it takes a lot of money and a lot of time. So really take your time about your value prop and how you're going to communicate it so that you can be consistent all the time on everything when you're marketing yourself. Oops, I went too far. You can't role play. I mean, it's really hard on Zoom to role play and do all these other things. So we're gonna have to keep going. And plus, I don't want to run over for you guys. But
I'm
feel free to
enjoying
ask
listening
questions.
to what Zach is asking and then the answers that you're giving him.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I am. Keep going, Zach.
Yeah. Any questions, Zach? Come on. Give me some more.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm totally confused and have no idea what I'm doing. Can you please?
You're confused?
No, I'm joking. Yeah. I'll be the guinea pig. Yeah, I get it.
You're getting it?
I am. I'm starting to tease it out a little bit. Yeah.
You can really talk about I'm a neighborhood expert, and then talk about the different neighborhoods within Santa Cruz and talk about the homes that are for sale in that area and what's unique about that neighborhood, and really start talking about how you're an expert, whether it's on your Facebook, emails, whatever. That's strong. In Sunnyvale, I was born in Mountain View, then moved over to Sunnyvale, and so I was in my client's house, and a neighbor came over to check it out, and she was from Sunnyvale as well. And I said, so what neighborhood are you from? And I go, you're from De Anza, which is that, because Sunnyvale has a bunch, every park has a name, and that's how you knew what neighborhood you were in. And so, De Anza, I'm from Orchard Gardens. And we just talked about Sunnyvale, and then we got talking to how her parents in Cupertino are thinking about downsizing. I got a lead out of that, just because I was able to connect with her at that level.
Yeah.
So knowing Santa Cruz like that can be really big.
Yeah, I think that was definitely an approach that I'm feeling is just my understanding of the county and the community, and how many changes I've seen and the current changes that I'm seeing with with the market the way it is, and not so much on a market front, but just as a community change, and I've seen its booms and busts, from the first tech bubble and the crash in 2008. I've seen a lot of that, so I definitely feel that will be a good part of my value proposition.
Oh, huge. It
very,
really, and you're supporting your community as well, so you can be you can do that whole hashtag support small business and interview small businesses in the neighborhood that you work in, and promote that. You can I'm a commissioner for the city of San Jose for the Seniors Commission. That's that's huge. You can look at.
So yeah, that's a question, because I deliver groceries for Gray Bears, right? Like I volunteer in the community, but I don't know how to lay that out in a value proposition without it seeming a little bit, dare I say, corny, right? Like
It's not corny.
Or like does this read like a resume, or is it an elevator pitch? Like where are the boundaries? What are the constraints around building this value proposition in general?
Well, you're a community expert, right? And to volunteer in your community, to support small business in your community.
Right. So I guess the question I'm asking is, so is that where it goes? So is it an elevator pitch saying I volunteer in my community, or is it a resume where you dig down and say I volunteer here at Gray Bears or at the senior center, or whatever it may be? Is it like, do you understand where does
I totally get it. And I wish I could have, so your value prop is I'm a community expert, right? That's your overarching message, right?
Right.
And how are you a community, a neighborhood expert?
Okay.
And then those are the legs. Everything you just said are the legs that support that overarching message, right? And so you can, let's say, let's just use Facebook as an example. Let's say you have 5 legs. I'll make it simple. You have 5 legs that supports your community expert. And so Monday, you talk about your volunteerism. On Tuesdays, you talk about small business. On Wednesdays, you talk about the changes that are happening in the neighborhood. So if you pick those 5 topics, Monday through Friday, or if there's 7 topics, right? And every Monday, you're going to talk about you volunteering, and there's a picture of you volunteering. And on small business, on every Tuesday, you're going to talk about a small business, take a picture of the front of the building, or if you can actually get the owner in a picture or in a video, even better. You do that every Tuesday. So then now you know what your 5 legs are. You're always under that neighborhood expert or community expert, whatever you decide those words are. And now you're going to be consistent every Monday on what you say. You'll be consistent every Tuesday. And you gotta just have that at least 1 post or 1 comment every week, every day of the week, so that you start building that recognition as the community expert, neighborhood expert. If you know something that's happening in the community from the political side, like in San Jose, I'm always paying attention to the Google Village, or when they're going to knock down a building and create some urban living. I always talk about that as well for San Jose. But it's that consistency as well. There's that day that you know you're going to talk about small businesses and you're going to get those pictures and do that story. So you kind of get what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, I do. I wonder, so I'm thinking to myself, and let me see if I can bounce this off you here.
Go for it.
I'm a father of 3, and all of my children, I'm familiar. I was thinking about approaching this notion that I'm familiar with the school system. I understand, where that value's at, and I felt like, kind of, because I've never purchased a home, but I have tried, and I've come up against these roadblocks, and I understand the difficulty that families face in buying a home in this county, right? And I felt like approaching it from that angle, but then I balked and thought, I don't want to kind of alienate a certain segment of, potential customer base either. And is that just silly, and thinking like,
I totally see. Okay, so you can do, Financial Friday, potential roadblocks in home ownership. And every Friday you talk about a different roadblock that you experienced when you wanted to buy a house, and what was the solution. Don't just pose a problem, but come at it with a solution. I have lenders that you can talk to, or I have credit repair people that you can talk to, right?
Mhm.
And so and there's like a couple months worth of content right there
Okay.
where you're
Now,
gonna be
if I was to
talking
roll back this marketing approach that you're talking about, we're using Facebook as an example, and you say, I've got this overarching umbrella of a value proposition, right? And then you're going to support that with these various, topics.
Mhm.
Well, that I get that, and I understand it, but if I can simplify this process for myself just a little bit, and maybe focus on what I've been trying to work on right now, let's say, is my introductory letter, like something I'm going to send out into a neighborhood where there's a house for sale, and I want to kind of touch on, say, a certain number of houses in that area. And how do I boil that down, instead of like spreading my marketing over, I guess, time and and a platform? What's the best approach to get that focused, get that down to, really pitching myself in whatever room I have for that, whatever, copy that might look like, just a paragraph, a page, what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Is it okay to jump
so
around
that's
a little bit?
completely different. So that you're talking about getting a listing in a neighborhood, and what's the letter you send out to try to get that listing, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of like a synopsis of my value proposition. Is that a place where it's okay to have kind of, jump over around the page a little bit and have more than one value proposition? Do you see what I'm saying?
You have one. You have one
Okay.
value prop, always one. But what you can do, so there's a thing called the golden letters. So there's content out there that you can repurpose, and I can forward it to you afterwards. If you send me your email, I'll send it to you. There's a thing called the Golden Letters. Gene Rivers does it. And it's, I just sent it out to one of my neighborhoods because, and I can't remember what it said. I'll send it to you, but the Golden Letters is, it's more, it's about talking about low inventory and are you willing to sell your home? But then you're going to sign it with your name and say Santa Cruz's neighborhood expert, right? Maybe it's then that you put your tagline there. But the words in the letter, you know, there's letters out there that have been proven and they work. And so why create a brand new letter? Use the letter, sign your name, put your tagline, which is your value prop, and send it out. And I can send you the Golden Letter. And there's 3 different versions of it.
Yeah, is that where you tell them that are you willing to, I don't know, to sell to one of our buyers, or
Yeah. Are you willing to sell your home to one of our buyers?
Right.
And you know, it sounds corny, and I can tell you, I can tell by your tone, you might think it's a little corny.
No, I absolutely not.
But you know that I sent it. I sent that letter, and I thought somebody that I've been trying to connect with to actually reach out to me. She wants to sell her house in Camden. It's probably 1.4 or 5, and she wants to buy, and because of that letter. And then they also in there they talk about a text message. You send 10 a day to your database, and I'm getting responses from that as well. So don't
Donna,
overthink
do you
it.
include your
Don't
business
overthink
card
it
when you
either.
mail out? Do
I'm
you
sorry?
include your, I'm sorry, do you include your business card when you send out the Golden Letter?
Always.
Okay, so don't just like put your contact information. You can put your formal business card in there.
Yep, I always put my card in there.
Okay, great.
Especially for older people like print. It depends on the age group, right? You know, probably a millennial will throw it away, and an older person will probably hold on to it. But that's okay.
That's true. I love print though, so I'll hold on to it.
Yeah, I always put in my business card. Does that help with the Golden Letter?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you could just sign your name and say, you know, you're Santa Cruz neighborhood expert, right?
Right. So it's a
If that's your
tagline,
value
just
prop.
kind of keeping it really for that. I don't have to worry about pitching myself as much as capturing their attention and just having something really brief, a tagline.
Exactly. And you know, the shorter the better, right? People don't want to read a book. So I mean, the big challenge there is just getting them to open the letter, right? So what are you going to do to make it interesting to get them to open it? You know, is it handwritten? No return address. I folded the letter so that the address, you can see it through the window of the envelope with no return address on it. Kind of like when you get a bill.
Yeah.
To get them to open it, right? That's going to be your challenge, not your, you know, your value prop. Isn't, you know, got to get them to open the letter, then have them say, yes, let me reach out to this guy. This is the 4th letter I got from him. He's consistent. I want to talk to this guy. And then in everything else, you're going to talk about how you're a community expert or neighborhood expert, whatever you want those words to be. Make sense?
I'm sorry, did you say there was a template for these letters?
There is. It's called the Golden Letters. You guys have not heard of the Golden Letters?
I actually did the Gene Rivers.
Yeah.
Here.
I have them. I can send it out to the team. I mean, if you send me an email, I'll forward them to you. It's a link, and I think there's 4 different letters, as well as the content for a text message. And I tell you, just copy it. Don't change a word. Send it out. You're going to get a response.
Awesome.
Okay. I hope that's okay with everybody. I know we kind of went off track there. Distinguish yourself, right? So we talked about how you can distinguish yourself, right? So it's that overarching, you know, value prop, and then how you're going to support it with the different activities, whether it's Facebook, whether it's an email campaign, LinkedIn, Instagram too, as well. I know this isn't a social media class, but it's important to do all those in addition to the printed letter, which is what the Golden Letters are. So you can apply it in absolutely everything you do. You guys are quiet now. Okay. Anything? You guys are easy. But once again, it's really distinguish yourself, like we talked. What's your little niche, what you're going to do. I love what Julia was saying. Julia was talking about veterans she's a lending background, she speaks Spanish. All those things are huge, and just to be consistent. And then once you did, if you are that neighborhood expert, let's just say in Santa Cruz, is creating that stellar experience, right? So when they do talk, don't say you're like, I can't say I'm a Santa Cruz expert. And then when I get in front of that person, I don't know. I just know how to drive 17 to get Santa Cruz. That's about it. So really make sure that it's unique to you and that you are an expert in whatever it is you want that value prop to be, so that you deliver it with confidence, and that so that they do have confidence in you. And so for somebody who's a new agent, talking about how you have this huge team behind you, really understand how many agents are in the office, how you can reach out to X amount of people with their listing to promote it, or to, for buyers, they're scared that they're not going to be able to find a home. You talk about how you have access to the MLS. You could find something that's coming soon and potentially make an offer on a property before it goes on the market. All those things, be confident and create that stellar experience for them. And I think you guys have comments here. It's kind of hard to see the chat. Oh, thanks, you guys. So I'll get those out to you. And so recap, any like, oh my God, Donna, that was a great idea. Anything? You guys are good?
I really like the whole idea of a marketing idea by day of the week. So like you said, like maybe Fridays or Small Business Fridays, and maybe on my online platform, I'm going to say, hey, cheers to the weekend, grab a drink at your local restaurant, ABC. During the weekend, take a stroll for fantastic views at, I don't know, this
Exactly.
park. I saw another agent who did something similar. They were in another country. That's also another great thing, guys. Follow other real estate agents. It doesn't even have to be within the country. It can be in other countries, just for marketing ideas. They laid out this whole itinerary that had like 4 different activities you could do for the weekend, recommended by them. And I know for me, I love that stuff because it helps me plan out what am I going to do with my family, or what do I want to do for the weekend. So it makes me even more interested in them and their content. So I just like that idea, Donna. And then maybe you do financial Tuesdays, and then, you release content that has to do with financial information. But that, I really like that whole idea.
Yeah, and that's, when you talk about it, it doesn't have to be just Facebook, right? You can do stories on LinkedIn, and you could do stories on it. It works with everything, and even in a printed piece, right? So it works, and nobody's really doing it consistently, so that's great. So if you can, and you could schedule your posts on a Sunday, right? And you could have your whole week done. So you have 1 week of whatever you want to say, Monday through Saturday, and then when you're out working on your business, take a picture of yourself meeting with a client, or like Julia said, out in the sunset, enjoying this beautiful day in Santa Cruz, or you're surfing, or whatever it might be. You complement your posts. You should do at least 2 posts a day. But if you have one schedule, then you just got another one to take during the day when you're just, in your normal business. I'll do one like I'm out going to get ready to meet with a client in Mountain View, and just take a picture of myself doing selfie and post it. People love that stuff. And they usually, you'll find that you get more, you'll get more likes and comments when you're in the picture. So track that too.
I do. I really like that idea as well. And I think it kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. And you have the marketing and messaging cohesiveness and consistency. And then obviously you have workflow, right? Like you don't have to sit and think about what you're going to do on any given day. You have it pretty much this template and this format that, that you can just apply.
Yeah. And if you're stuck, and don't make it all, do you want to buy or sell or invest in real estate? Make it, life experiences. It could be, motivational Monday, and say something that's motivating. It doesn't always have to be about real estate, right? And be human about it, and be your authentic. If you can be your authentic self, you're going to kill it. You're going to do well. And so not just say, do you want to buy, nobody want, you're an agent, you have realtor after your name. They know that you want to buy or sell and invest in real estate. People like to see the inside of houses. I love kitchens, so I always post pictures of kitchens when I'm inside the house, because I love to cook. So that's my thing. but find what your thing is and just have fun with it and post and talk and determine what, what that value prop is and play with it. So if you're that, like, you talk about that community, there's so much in Santa Cruz that you can take pictures of and talk about, and in any city we're in, right? I'm in San Jose, so there's always something changing over here. I mean, I could talk about the Google Village all day, every day. I don't want to focus on just that, but there's a lot of content out there that, find what's interesting to you and just start posting it and talking about it and really supporting if it's a community expert. If you want to say you're a community expert, then your posts should be supporting you're a community expert, not just posting what houses are for sale in that area, but the changes in that neighborhood or restaurants and things to do as a family and hiking trails and all those things that really support that you're a community expert without talking about real estate 24/7. Does that help? No comments, that's it?
Yes. Oh, one more thing, guys,
Oh.
that I learned, Donna. I don't know if you use this, but I started using Homekeeper for their shareable blog posts,
Mhm.
which is a resource available to us through KW, I believe. And I've been posting on LinkedIn and Facebook with ready-made blog posts just to remind people like, hey, I'm in real estate. I did one that was like 5 tips to making sure your AC is ready for summer, which is completely applicable considering what season we're going into.
And Julia, to take that even further, you could actually reach out to, let's say, an air conditioning company and say, if I promote you, can I say that you'll give my clients 10% off if they mention my name?
That's a really good idea too,
Yeah,
Donna.
things like that, right? And so, partner with these vendors too, to make sure that, and then, you're pitching their business, and hopefully if they know somebody's going to sell or buy, they'll refer you business as well. But that's a great idea. And so really supporting the businesses within your community. They don't always, and I think small businesses always appreciate that because it is, it's been hard for them. Restaurants, hard for them, right? Now that they're reopening, you could talk about how they're reopening now and they don't have to be at 25% anymore. Things like that. Anything else, anybody? It's 10 o'clock.
Hi, this is Helly. I just, I'm very quiet because I'm getting a listing, my first one. I have a rocky road here because it's a trust sale and it's been taking a year, but I'm gonna have very soon. But I'm frustrated now because nobody's answering me anything right now. So, but I want to say about the Facebook. I have a Facebook like a business page as well, separately, my Helly Carper Realtor page. And I've been getting likes. And what you said that I've been doing staging as well for one company there and here. So I have lots of like artistic background and so I'm thinking lots what you're saying. So thank you very much.
Oh, and Hilly, what a great that you're doing staging is amazing. Could you imagine like you stage a house and let's say it listed at $1 million and it sold for 1.2, let's say. You could also
I know, I'm just
my staging, my staging.
I know, I can't wait.
when you don't have to say the price, but you can say went for $200,000 over list price because of this beautiful staging.
Right. And I about the staging, I just took one picture. There's a pool and an outside picture, and I'm looking at people reacted is much more than I also put those home. What we mentioned, the homekeeper keepers as well. But this one, let's say that 33 people reacted and 6 engagement. And then I put something else and it's just like a 19 or 15 is good for the nursery plants and things. And HVAC is 10 people, but personal picture from that staging outside, everybody was interested. So you are so right. And I'm going to do that more.
Yes, exactly. And don't forget, like you see the comments, you have to comment on the comments, whether it's a like or say something, because the minute you comment, everybody that comment will see that. So you continue that engagement with them.
Yes, I have to get better with that. But I've been just trying to not go crazy about, because it's very overwhelming and I'm trying to focus on something and where I'm good at. like what interests me. So if I'm honestly myself and interior design background and things like that, so that I have to find some ways to find where I'm good at, and the value comes from that.
The interior, like you like interior design, you can have a day where you find a house that you find super interesting from an interior design perspective. Doesn't have to be a house that you stage, but that could be a day where you post, you know, like
something,
a house that you really find interesting, and you'll get a lot of comments. I find that people like to see that. I follow a guy named Noble Knight. He's in New York, KNIGHT. Check out his page. He does some incredible pictures of New York. And I just use him as an inspiration when I'm kind of stuck and look at what he's posting to watch.
can you put that in the chat? I missed the name, so.
Oh, I think I can. I'm gonna have to do it once I stop. I'll stop.
I don't like to comment so much because these are recordings. I don't. Sometimes I said something and I had the trouble of it.
You please, it's okay. You can comment. It's Noble.
But I'm listening, actively listening and making notes. So.
Yeah, but it's Noble Knight. And he's on Instagram. He does these incredible. I mean, he sells houses that are like 45 million. So, you know, but I aspire to be like him. And I look at these incredible buildings that he takes pictures of. And, you know, we do have Santa Cruz. I mean, you got the whole beach over there, right? San Jose, there's some great buildings over here. Like I was thinking of stopping by that new building right off of 87. The glass is just going up on that high rise. And I was driving by, it was, you know, when the sun was kind of going down and it was beautiful. I go, oh my God, I got to go over there.
I have actually a picture. I was taking down one 2-bedroom condo. It was 20th and overlooking towards the 87 and airport, you know, so the guy who is a warehouse manager. So he said he was just sitting there half an hour at nighttime, evening time, and seeing planes coming down and up. So I just don't know if I can post those because I was there just to do the taking out the staging stuff. And
so away.
Sometimes
before and afters are great. Sure. Before and afters are great. And so like in Santa Cruz, let's say you could, if there's some cool new building going up, you know, you could take some pictures as the process is happening. You know, here's a new building that's going up in Santa Cruz. It's going to be and take pictures. And then, you know, the final one, those are all cool. Those are all cool images that people might not know what's happening. I find that suddenly a building is knocked down and nobody knows what's going to be there. If you can figure out what's going to be there and promote it, people love that. Oh, I didn't know that a blah blah is going up there. For me here in Campbell, there was a lot of controversy about if you know this area, it's Winchester, like that In-N-Out Burger in Campbell that's on the corner where the freeway, there was a lot of traffic. And I was posting a lot about if the city council was going to vote on whether they were going to allow that building to go up or not. The committee was in an uproar about it. Lots of comments about that on my postings. So just finding things that people are interested. I mean, if you're interested in it, most likely other people are interested in it, and just start talking about it. But once again, it's fitting whatever your value prop is, right? So for me, it's more of transforming lives. And so I do a lot of like financial information or investing and things on multi-family units and things like that. It's whatever's, you know, true to you.
That's probably our next stage. I'm trying to have a good start. Something what is easier and closer to me, because it is so overwhelming. Somebody said that do the Zoom thing for house loans. Oh my God, what I'm gonna say? Because I know
you can do it, Helly. You can do it. You can do it.
I need somebody to be with me there, but you know what I mean. It's just really uncomfortable to have some kind of a Zoom or quizzes. Have quizzes. I'm like so slow with quizzes. So it's like,
then you know what? It's okay. Then don't do it. Just do a post. It's okay.
Yeah. So we have to find
it's more important to post than to be perfect about it, right? Just start posting.
Right. That's okay. I will. I'm getting better every day.
Okay, good. Okay, it's after 10. I don't want to take anybody's, we're past the time, but I'll get everybody's email and I'll send you the golden letter.
Okay,
letters, actually.
I want to get your email. So I'll get you when you send out.
So I'll type it in here, but I'm Holmes, HOMES, and my name @DonnaCastillo.com.
Holmes @DonnaCastillo.com.
Yeah, feel free to reach out. I would love to help in any
Yeah,
way. With anybody, would love to help anybody. Just let me know. Love to sit down with you. Hey, I'll come to you at Santa Cruz. I'll come.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
thank
your
you.
time, and feel free to reach out if you have any other questions, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.